Middays with Sarah J. I love having talented people in the studio. So, Coaster.
Hello.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. If people are not familiar with you, where are you from?
I'm from Selah, Washington.
What?
Far away.
But I know, right? Right around the corner from the studio, actually.
Yeah.
Are we calling you a traveling musician at this point? What is your title?
National touring hip hop artist. That's usually what I go by.
Even better. So find you Coaster, and it's spelled like a coaster.
Yep. Coaster. Search me up on Facebook, and you might have to hit the pages tab, and I should be like the first one. It's my artist page on there. And for like Instagram and stuff like that, my handle is Click President. So CLIQUE President.
Perfect.
That's how you can find me.
All right. So definitely find him. You have merch as well. So
I do. I have a ton of merch.
Everybody loves merch. So make sure you get the beanies ready for fall, right?
Absolutely.
Ooh, I will want one too. How long have you been working with music?
A long time, probably 10 plus years. I mean, I started writing when I was in my teens, so I include that, even pre-recording. I started recording on a tape recorder at my grandma's house, and that's kind of how I got started.
Speaking of your grandma, she actually helped you with your name? Is that?
Yeah, my grandma actually gave me the name Coaster. Big shout out to my grandma.
That's very cool. Is there like a behind the scenes story for that, or she just loves coasters?
It has to do with my real name.
Oh, okay. We'll keep that secret.
Yeah, people always are trying to pry to see what my real name is, but like I've had Coaster my whole life, and that's just what I go by.
I love that. Okay, so it's a comfortable nickname for you.
Yes, absolutely. It's not something so cool. Like super weird little flippy doodah.
So you've been working with music for over 10 years. How many albums have we dropped?
Officially and like pressed up, I think 4. This last one, Wish Me Worries, I think is my 4th one. And then I had a mixtape before that where I like really got my start.
Very cool. So we just played Vibe With Me on the radio, and you were talking about how this was the first time that you had sent something out to another producer.
To a new engineer, yes, out in Atlanta. That was the very first song that I sent to him because, we got to fill each other out. He has to see what my style is and what, makes me sound good. And at the same time, I have to see how he makes me sound. And he sent that back, and I feel like it was like the very first edit of it. We got it back, and it just sounded better than anything I've ever done.
Oh my gosh.
And so we decided, hey, we need to build an album around this.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, are you on board to do a full album with me? And he's like, yep, let's get it. So
holy moly.
That's where we started with Wish Me Worries, and it's been a very momentous album for me. Done great things.
I love that. Congratulations with drawing outside of the lines and creating all this cool stuff. And you have a pretty interesting story too, because you have been sober for quite a while. Yes.
I think this month it's like 7.5 years, but I celebrate my sobriety date in January. It's been a long time.
Yeah, for sure. And you said when you get on stage, that's how you warm up the crowd. Like you get them ready. I would love for you to kind of give people a taste of why talking about your sobriety is so important.
All my music's about me, and it's about my journey. And so it's one thing to put that in my music, but to get on stage in front of a bunch of people, I didn't realize how that was going to change how people looked at me before I even started performing. And it's been, completely wonderful to be in packed bars or clubs or wherever where, there's, intoxicated people, and to get those few people out of the crowd that are like, hey, I have like 30 days. I have 7 days. I have 3 years. It's crazy to me that you don't know that when you're in the moment, you're in that environment, you don't know that. And when you speak on something like that, it gives people affirmation that what they're doing is right or whatever, or it's, and it connects them to my music even more. And I feel like I just kind of accidentally stumbled on that, and I saw the reaction from it, and I was just like, okay, like this is what I need to be pushing. But I'm not like pushy about it. I don't make it my agenda.
You're not getting up there being like, hey, nobody drink while we're here.
No, I'm always like, hey, drink one for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Enjoy it. Savor that thing.
Absolutely.
I love that you're very open about that stuff. And I love that you were willing to come on here too, because I feel like being from a small town of Selah, it's important for the youth and anybody out there who wants to follow their dreams.
Yes.
There's a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And a lot of hard stuff that people don't see.
Yeah.
So what is something that keeps you motivated to continue to push when you feel like nobody's listening, but they are listening?
That's one thing. It's just understanding the journey, to enjoy the journey for one, but to understand you are not going to see everything you do. Like being an artist, you don't know the impact that you have on somebody. You don't know how your music makes somebody feel, because, you know, I do get messages from people and like how much they appreciate what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. But you don't necessarily know everything your music's doing, and you don't know who's listening.
Right. You could have your worst song and it's somebody else's, like change their life.
Oh, yeah.
They play it on repeat.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's like, why don't you perform this song? And it's like, because I hate that song. You know,
I'm so sick of it. And they're like, but that's my life.
Yeah.
You wrote that one for me.
Yeah.
So a good reminder too, if you're listening right now, if you have an artist that has inspired you in any way, reach out to them, because they need to feel that and hear that and know that they're not alone. And because you're putting yourself out there.
Artists feed off of that.
Yes.
I mean, that's just like being in real life at a show. They feed off of the crowd's energy and the reaction that they get from it. That's instant gratification. But like when people are putting out music, they don't necessarily get that. So they think that they're just feeding their art into a black hole.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. You dropped it and you don't hear the bottom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Even if people are like, oh, that's an awesome song, blah, blah, blah. But to hear actual stories of why it affected them.
Yes.
That is the big thing.
Yeah. The fuel you need to keep going.
Absolutely.
So speaking of crowds, you just came off of a pretty big performance from Applejam.
Yeah. I took a shot in the dark and I joined Applejam. I was the only hip hop artist that made it into the final competition, which is amazing. You know, I'm always fighting for hip hop.
Oh,
you know?
for sure.
So it was really cool. It was a great experience. Big shout out to Paul Crawford. What they're doing there is amazing. You know, behind the scenes, there's so much going into it that people don't get to see, and it's just an amazing experience. I ended up winning best performance of the night.
Yay!
Thank you. It was awesome. All around, just awesome.
Big shout out to anybody who's putting these venues together to allow local artists to really shine.
Absolutely.
So way to go. You had other plans. Those plans kind of fell through, but it opened up the
door for Applejam, and ended up doing Applejam instead, and it turned out wonderfully. And even just having that little bit on my EPK, which for those that don't know what EPK is, it's pretty much like a musical resume.
Yes.
So when you pitch your stuff to venues, talent buyers, it's pretty much your resume. So it looks pretty good on there.
It does. Make sure to follow Coaster on social media, because he's really trying to up his game right now. And I mean, followers are always wonderful. So give him the love and check out all his business. Where could people find you coming up if they wanted to see you live in person?
Follow all my social media. We're very good at promoting like where I'm going to be at and the different stuff. And it's really cool because we get to travel all over the nation. So I've been able to acquire a fan base that's like just outside of my hometown. And it's crazy. And not only that, but it's just like such a small world, because I'll be performing in the middle of Arizona, and there's somebody there that's from Selah or Sunnyside, or you know what I mean? They're just like, oh, 509 all day. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
you're representing 509. Thank you very much for doing that. That's crazy. And then you're breaking some boundaries with a lot of like first time hip hop books. Is that happening in more than just Applejam? Yes.
I was the first hip hop artist booked at Chinook Fest. Big shout out to Chinook Fest. You know, taking the chance on me, and even like something like that has opened up doors. And big shout out to Jennifer that I got booked for Richland. They have like, it's like their downtown summer nights. It's called Live at 5. So it's an outdoor like music summer concert series. And I was the first hip hop artist that they've booked, and they've been going strong for like 18 years.
Oh, dang,
so it was an absolute honor to go out there. And shout out to Badlands. I did a mashup with that band out there, and
how fun.
it was so much fun.
Oh, so it's not just booking these venues and breaking all of these molds, but also connecting with other artists and then creating new stuff.
Absolutely. And stepping out of the box. I feel like that's a huge thing for artists, is to be uncomfortable and like don't always perform at where you feel comfortable, and to do stuff and perform in front of crowds that you normally wouldn't.
Right.
And I feel like that helps me grow and humbles me a little bit, because it does get scary. It does get nerve wracking.
For sure. But that's
awesome.
That's how you grow.
Yeah.
Through the pain, the coolest stuff comes, the uncomfortable. And then you also are getting picked up on some radio stations?
Yes. I believe like 4 of my songs got picked up off my album, Wish Me Worries, got picked up by a show called Local with Luis on the West Side, and it airs on 4 different radio stations.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you've toured with a bunch of different people. You can go ahead and name drop if you like.
Yeah, I've done 5 tours with Afro Man. I've done 2 tours with Stevie Stone now, which allowed me to tour with Locksmith, who's an amazing person, amazing lyricist. I just did a tour with Swayze from like Bellingham down to Portland. I don't know.
Gosh, you are busy.
Yeah, it's fun though. It's so much fun. It's a struggle for sure, you know, everything behind the scenes, but it's so worth it.
That's so cool. So you're making a career out of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then on the side, you can see him actually, he bartends.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
On the side when I'm home.
Yeah, keep it. Well, I mean, you got to have a little extra cash in your pocket.
Absolutely. And something flexible because how much I'm out of town. It's,
I bet.
I couldn't work a quote unquote normal job if I left all the time.
Smart.
I'd be fired so many times over.
Anything that you would like to say to artists out there, or just anybody who's like wanting to follow their dreams, but they're just kind of stuck in a rut?
You see, for me, I get stuck in a rut all the time, but I just feel like it's consistency, to be consistent and, find your lane and find what you're good at and stick to it. Not only that, but have fun. Like at the end of the day, you have to have fun with it. It just has to be your passion. Yeah. I've seen so many artists that just burn out and they kind of lost that fire. And I feel, especially with my last album, I got to be so creative with it. It was just a new that I haven't really experimented with before, and it's done great things. It was just a way more positive and good vibes album, and
that's cool.
It sparked a new energy inside me and pushed me to be more creative.
He just leveled up, ladies and gentlemen. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like if everything went the way that it would be, like so cool. I know that's such a tough one.
I don't even know realistically.
That's fair too.
Just still doing what I'm doing, but just on a totally different level. Because there's
continuing to level up and continuing to enjoy yourself. I think
enjoying the journey.
Yes, being in the moment, taking the opportunities, even the weird ones that you're like, I don't know if that's a good idea, but it could take you to like a crazy cool level.
Absolutely.
That's exciting. Anything else before we go over the dates where people could see you? Because I've got my phone up and I've got the list that you sent me.
Another thing about being out of the box and finding different avenues, being contacted for like different products and stuff. And
that's right.
Big shout out to Hang Loose Shave Ice. They actually named a shave ice after me called the Coaster. It's like peach and guava with vanilla ice cream, because that's what I always get when I go there. So big shout out to Hang Loose Shave Ice. They actually named something after me, and that's just another avenue and being creative when it comes to marketing.
Yes, it is. So if there's anybody out there that has something cool and you think, well, gosh, I'd love Coaster to come into my restaurant and have a meal or anything like that. Sky's the limit, right?
And we love supporting like local businesses and
upcoming tours. You have got a show on August 5th, Spokane, Washington.
Yes, I got a little run that I'm doing at the Big Dipper. I'm headlining in Spokane. And then the next night out in Montana, I have a show with Dizzy Wright, and a few days later, I have a show with Aaron Carter.
Aaron Carter,
Aaron Carter.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Careful now.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And another big one is I just got booked to headline a show at Boise State University, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
They're doing a big welcome back show for all their students.
That is so cool.
So I get to go out there and headline, and
awesome.
excited.
You got new material that you're working on at the same time, or
kind of? Yeah. I'm kind of getting back into my writing phase. I really have to be in a state of mind.
Oh, I bet.
And I know when it hits, because I'll always just be like, hey, like I'm ready to write.
Yeah. Leave me alone for 4 hours.
Like rhymes will just be going through my head, and I'm like, I'm ready to find some beats and start writing.
You have to lock yourself away because you're not paying attention to anybody at that point.
Absolutely.
That is so cool. I also would love for you to kind of, because I know a lot of artists, you see so much, like you got to have this and you have to have this and you have to have that. What do you need to create?
What do I need to create? I just like being by myself. I get that a lot because artists are always like, hey, I want to do a song with you. I want to collab. Let's have a studio session. Yeah. And realistically, I don't like creating stuff in a studio environment with other people being there.
It's pressure.
Because I'm a writer. At the end of the day, like I like writing. It is poetry to me, and I like to perfect my craft before I present it.
Fair.
So I like being by myself, and I like listening to a beat on repeat for hours at a time until I have something ready to go.
Till it sounds absolutely perfect to your ear.
Yes.
So absolutely. Time and knowing yourself are two items. You don't need anything to get yourself started.
No, not really. Just a little spark of inspiration.
Exactly. Yeah. And then continue to strive to find that spark.
Absolutely.
And being honest with yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Coaster, congratulations with everything that you've got going on, what you've got going on in the future. And I'd love to have you back on again sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here today. And
of course.
Not even just for the interview, but to be able to share the show with you today. And it's been an amazing experience.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I hope to do it again very, very soon.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Coaster, follow him on social media. He's going places.